time, either until we run out of questions or until it hits 7:45. You guys are free to go. So I'm not going to sit you in here for like till midnight trying to drain questions out of you guys. I'm sure most of the people that you know have told you about what's going on here a little bit. We're in an advertising research class, and we have a group project where we have to work with a company basically to see if they're lacking on awareness of their part. So for instance, we're with Callaway House Norman, and we kind of talked with them and saw what they are having troubles with, and so we're just doing a project about that. So what this focus group is to get us to kind of find a general theme about the questions that we've asked, to get a survey out to other individuals. So all that this is we're just going to be talking for hopefully an hour. There's no right or wrong answers, none of this will be submitted to anything. We're just recording this for the sake of making a transcript and then finding themes within there to get basic survey questions down. So don't worry about what you're saying. Everything that's coming out your mouths isn't going to be, sold off to Walmart so we can email blast you. So as you guys have done millions of times before, to break the awkwardness that is floating around right now, we're going to do the classic go around the room and say just name and major. I think will be good. So my name is Cameron Brown, and my major is advertising, obviously. So we'll start off over here.
I'm Jalen Rodriguez. My major is finance.
I'm Julia Pelletier, and my major is vocal performance.
Griff, Bert, and I am a criminology major.
My name is Joseph Riley, and I'm a chemical engineering major.
I'm Joe Paul Crowell. I'm an industrial engineering major.
Sonia Ramirez, architecture.
I'm Maria Hernandez. I'm a sociology and psychology double major.
I'm Bobby. I am studying chemical engineering.
All right, so I'll just go ahead and get it started. So I'm just going to ask a question, and then if you think of something, raise your hand. I might poke and prod some of you to get something out of you, but just know every answer is fine. So in terms of a business, what are some first things that come to mind when someone says like a good business?
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand. Okay, so could you go in on that a little bit more?
So a company that makes maximum profits, that knows their supplies, knows demands in the market, and profit off of the demands.
Okay, so for instance, we're doing an apartment complex. What would that kind of mean to you in that aspect of supply and demand?
So I know student housing that would be the best in the locale, like a college. That's probably closest to the college, but at the cheapest price.
Okay, all right. And did you have your hand up for a little something?
Yeah, so if you're looking at an apartment complex, you have to, one, have a part that's, to have like maximum profit, a part of it that's affordable housing, which means you have to offset it with another cost, which means you actually also have to have luxury items. Okay. So you have to put them both together to come up with the median that a student would want, but you also have to take into consideration that you are pleasing their parents, not necessarily the student. Okay,
so parents kind of have a little bit in that. Okay. So going off of that, what are you talked about luxury items in there, so would you guys think of as that in a housing complex, I guess speaking on campus, what would you guys consider a luxury item?
At OU, a parking spot.
A parking spot, okay. Okay. No, that's totally valid. It's an absolute nightmare trying to park here, so parking would be a big thing. Okay, what about anyone else? Any luxury items that come straight off the mind?
Personal bathroom.
Personal bathroom, yeah.
A pool, a gym.
A usual apartment.
Utilities, yeah.
Yeah, like in unit washers, dryers.
Washer dryers, okay, all right. Okay. So then, going back to more of the business side, so if you were to, I don't know, do something with a business, say, go into Walmart or something, what would drive you to leave? How many of you would actually say that you leave reviews on, like online or something about a business?
I mean, I occasionally do.
Occasionally do. And what drives you to leave those reviews?
If I either have like a really good experience or a really bad experience, then I'll usually leave one.
Do you think that one is easier to leave than the other for you? Like for instance, like do you rarely find yourself leaving good reviews and more bad reviews?
Yeah, I would say that I mean, I don't like leave.
No, don't, yeah,
but yeah, I would say I probably leave bad reviews more than good ones.
Good review. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know?
I mean,
Can you think
just
of anything behind that? Or?
just because like it'll like if I'll try to like reach out to the company first, and if they don't like try to resolve an issue with me, then it just like makes me mad, and then I'm like wanting to write.
So it's more out of anger.
Yeah, I
towards
guess so.
it. Okay, no, and that's fair. You know, I totally get that. That's a super frustrating thing. So anyone else? Let's kind of go on this about like, or did you have something, Joe Paul?
I would say I'm kind of on the opposite end. Like if something pisses me off, I won't really leave a review. I just never deal with them again. But if something's awesome, I'm gonna leave a great review. So
Okay.
everybody's like, wanting to go there, so I want to support whatever it was. With
Okay.
the review.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting because you said that you go out to the company first and
Yeah.
be like, hey, this is blah blah blah, and you think they kind of deserve it at that point where it's like, all right.
Yeah, like if they try to make it better, I mean, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. 'Cause, like,
Exactly,
they could
yeah.
make a mistake, but
No, yeah, that definitely makes sense. Okay, all right. What about, so Joe Paul, you're talking about positive reviews. What are some things that you have left for a company before, if you can, off the top of your head?
I think that, are you talking about like specific items or specific reviews?
Just instances of some time when a business went above and beyond to where you would leave that positive review.
Only thing I can think of off the top of my head was the subwoofer driver that I have. It's
Okay.
$20, and so I looked at a review that said, this is the best damn $20 sub you can buy. And that's all I did.
And that's
I
all
mean,
you
it was
did.
like 10 words, but I'm sure that swayed a lot of people to buy that.
Okay, so that's also, you know, I know you personally, and audio is a big thing for you.
Right.
So you think more of like, if it's something you're passionate about and they put out something great, then you're gonna, you know, be more inclined to do that.
Right.
Would you say that you would leave something that good of a review for a housing complex? No, you don't think so?
I think for a student apartment, the reason why I would leave a review would be for other students looking to live there.
Okay.
Just because like sometimes it's difficult to know whether or not an apartment complex is going to be transparent and is looking for the student's best interest. So
Okay.
leaving reviews that will help other students who are looking to live there would be the reason why I would leave a review.
Okay, so it's more for you. It's like kind of serving as a warning, or you know, because you know, if we're talking about an apartment complex, they're looking at sales mostly, so they're not going to be quite as upfront. Okay, all right, interesting. Again, during the middle of this, if I ask you a question, it's totally fine to stop me and say you have to think about it. Don't feel pressured to just, oh shit, now I gotta speak. So, leading into that, what you said about telling other students about your experience, how many of you guys, before going to a restaurant or most things, do you look at the reviews online? Or just in
Pretty
general?
prominent.
yeah.
Pretty frequently?
Yeah,
For some of
pretty
you.
much, like, if I'm going to make a night of going to a restaurant,
Mhm.
I'm going to look at a review.
Okay.
I'm going to choose the best review.
And how often do you think your perception of it is swayed by those reviews?
Every time, because
Yeah.
we don't have anything else to go off of. Especially if you're going to a new place,
Mhm.
TripAdvisor, best restaurant in town. Okay,
Okay.
I'll go there. I guess that I trust their opinion.
Mhm.
Just a crowdsource, so.
Is there any sort of platform that you use in general? So for instance, like Google has reviews, Yelp has reviews, you know, like you said, TripAdvisor has reviews. Is there any place that there's a go-to place for you?
Yelp,
Yeah.
Yelp
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Google, because like as soon as you search the restaurant name, you automatically get the reviews like right underneath it, so you can like already dive deep into like, oh, they have like what I want, or this is what they're saying about the customer service, which it's usually more about the items for me than actually the customer service.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you're worried about more like what you're getting rather than
Yeah.
like customer service. And you know, that goes for a lot of things, because you could say you get a lot more customer service when you're working with like a restaurant. It's almost all customer service because you're dealing with
Yeah.
a waitress most of the, or
Yeah.
waiter most of the time. But like when something like Walmart, it's like, well, I just gotta check out. Okay, so that's interesting as well. What, if you owned a business, and this is kind of a stretch question, so it's okay if we gotta sit here and think about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
If you were a business suffering from negative reviews, so you own a business, you have, let's say 20 some odd employees,
Mhm.
and you're suffering from negative reviews, what do you think would be your first call to action? Or I guess your first plan of action, not call.
I think it would depend on the reviews, like context and the subject of them.
Okay,
Yeah, fix what the reviews complain about.
Yeah, like
that's your
if
first
it's,
goal.
yeah.
Is just read those and take those into account or something like
I
that.
think to solve any problems, first you have to address the issue. And if the issues are being pointed out to the company directly, either it be through reviews or it be by employees, then those issues need to be fixed, you know?
Mhm.
I think one of the key factors that actually play into a part of a huge business are from the employees. I mean, no, customer satisfaction also is a big part,
Mhm.
but the employees also reflect off of it too. So I think it's like a two-hand situation. You can't just do all customer service and then undermine the employees.
Are you sure you're not a business major?
No.
I don't believe you. All right, so then that's one thing is we're talking about looking at the reviews and addressing those problems. But the thing is, would you say that once you've left a bad review, so like you were talking about, you've gotten in contact with the company, they haven't done anything, you leave the bad review.
Yeah.
If that company were to come back to you and look at the review after it and try to address the issue, do you think you'd take it off or do you think you would leave it on there?
Yeah,
And
I mean, if-
not just trying to single you out, everyone's welcome for
Yeah,
this.
if they solve the issue, I'd definitely like change my review.
Change
and I mean, I'd probably like make it a positive review.
Okay. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think people are compelled by knowing that they have some sort of input and power over how a company
Okay.
yeah, assesses, yeah. So if I think that I would definitely like do something to reverse what I said if the company took my opinion into consideration.
Mhm.
I don't know if I would like completely change. I don't read reviews, so this is really hypothetical.
No,
but,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, and that's
But, like-
definitely, yeah, it's totally valid to what you would think.
yeah, I would definitely change it, but I don't think I would completely just forget about like
And
if
right.
it was that big of a deal for me to leave a review, which for me it would have to be.
Mhm.
Like I would definitely mention that they made amends, but that it still happened, and to be cautious that because like businesses usually are just for profit, and like chances are if I didn't leave that review, they wouldn't have fixed the problem. So it's kind of like I don't want people falling in that same trap and thinking, oh, it's just me, so I won't bother
Mhm.
fighting it. You know,
Mhm.
be like,
Right.
hey, you might have to fight to get what's fair. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think one thing is, from a business standpoint, we've focused on the reviews that are negative. But there are the some instances where, people like you were talking about, like you want people to know that this was something that happened, or you're talking about like, you want students to know, to be warned. How do you think what do you think would be a good way to prevent it from getting to a point from leaving a negative review? So like addressing the problem before it even happens, that way there's not the chance that someone won't, leave that bad review on there. What kind of tactics do you think, let's try and talk about this from a company standpoint at first, and then more towards a personal standpoint on the second part of how you would want to reach out to others, how you think a good idea would be, and then on another part, how you think you would want to be reached out to.
I don't think companies have to be even that proactive, to like address issues before they happen. I think most people like understand that shit happens.
Okay.
Mistakes are made.
Right.
But like I think companies should focus more on addressing issues as soon as they are brought up by the customer.
Okay.
Instead of like someone says something and they just put it off or just like try to fix it and it doesn't work.
Mhm.
Then they have to fix it.
Mhm.
They can't just not
Right.
do anything.
I think it's very like, it's situational based, you know, it's like certain situations happen and they require dire like attention, and then certain situations like, you have to balance it out. So I feel like it's situation based. That's why I was gonna ask you the question, like, in what situation are we like
Okay.
talking about? Is
No,
it
yeah,
like
that's
in terms
true.
of like rent payment? Is it in terms of like fixing like?
Well, yeah, we can. I guess we can use it in an instance of like Callaway here as an apartment complex. You could, maybe just, for instance, a customer was mad at the customer service that they received. You know, that's not something that you can plan ahead for as a business, but it's definitely something that happens within different businesses. How do you think that you would implement kind of a safeguard there from preventing those reviews to come up?
I think it'd be a good idea to maybe create like an in-house anonymous like forum, I guess, or a complaint area where people can just go on there and complain anonymously, but it doesn't show to the public.
Okay.
So the company could just keep that to themselves because they don't have to disclose that.
Okay.
And just, you know, in theory, actually fix them and not just ignore them.
Right. So some sort of way for residents to be able to complain, like you guys were saying, a lot of the times when you're leaving a bad review, it's a complaint that you have with the business. Now, in some cases, it might not be like that, but it could filter through a lot of that. Okay. So then here's another thing, kind of piggybacking off of what you said, where if something bad happened and then they fixed it and you leave, you still keep the review, but you said, hey, they made amends, but just know that this did happen. We talked about restaurants earlier, and about looking reviews on that, and if you saw a bad one, it would lead you away. Now, if you saw something like that, would you still be as opposed to visiting the restaurant? Would you kind of be skeptical? What would kind of go through your guys' heads there?
Oh, good. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
For me, it deals a lot with who recommended me to the place. So if, you know, Bobby came and told me, hey, there's this new restaurant, I tried it, I really liked it, and I look and go on the reviews, I think I trust Bobby enough to know that what he's telling me is his sincere opinion, because I know him enough for that. So I would disregard the negative reviews of the actual place.
Okay.
And for me, usually, I go to restaurants where people recommend me.
Okay. And what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, I'm definitely skeptical about it, but I'd rather have my own opinion about a place than rather an opinion that's based on, like, because I know certain opinions are like, if it's a balanced like review, like, oh, there's some, because no place can be perfect. So if it has bad reviews, yeah, like there's definitely gonna be bad reviews. Not everybody can be happy, but like I still want to go get my own opinion of the restaurant. It just depends on where the rating is sitting on.
So do most of you agree with that about referrals? Like,